What's up, guys? How's it going? You're here with Larry Get to Know as usual. Going to be showing you something. Again, it's going to be a short stream today, I'm afraid. I'm hoping to get back into some normality with the streams and doing some longer kind of production sessions. But I'm finishing a lot of music and doing a lot of intense mixing and mastering at the moment. And I'll be back in the headspace of doing longer production sessions and mixing sessions shortly, so please bear with me. But I'm going to show you something really cool. I think it's really cool anyway, right now. Anyway, so I'm working on a track. This is something I did a while ago that I've just revisiting. It's going to be a remix under my side project of Ghetto No, I think. This is a little bit more of a clubby kind of vibe. I'll give you a little blast. Yeah, you get the picture. It's a bit tougher than the stuff I normally make, but I actually used to make dubstep, believe it or not. And I quite like making different styles of music, and that's why I started a side project, which was a little bit tougher. Yeah, so I'm just actually going to tweak something just on here. I just feel like maybe the kick tail's a little bit long. So I'm just gonna bring that back in a little bit. And maybe the attack is a little bit too loud. I'll take it back again. Anyway, that's me getting sidetracked. So let me show you what I'm going to be working on today, what I'm going to be showing you today. So I think this is quite an elegant way of approaching a problem that I'm faced with. So I love recording live drums. So these are drums I recorded with a very talented drummer I know. So let me give you a blast. Okay, so we'll look at this part first. Okay, so let's say what I'm trying to do is boost the tops of this snare on this kind of live loop essentially that's been recorded. But I don't want to bring out the hats, because if I do that, it's going to get a little bit harsh. Now, it's funny because actually in my headphones, the snare sounds quite nice and bright, but in my smaller speakers, it sounds really muddy and kind of just like it's not got no sizzle to it. So strange one. But anyway, I want to bring out a little bit of the sizzle in the snare. But as I said, I don't want to add any sizzle to the hats. So this is what I'm going to do. So first of all, I want to find where I can boost the snare. So that, yeah, the kind of sizzle of the snare, transient of the snare, a lot of that information is around this 6K mark, I'd say. So what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to try and trigger this expansion. Okay, so if you don't use expansion and you think expansion, whatever, it's it's just a kind of poor relation of compression. It's probably not something you use as much as compression, but it's seriously useful expansion because it's a great way of balancing things and a great way of adding dynamics back in and manipulating a dynamic range in a different way to the way you would manipulate compression. Because obviously compression, you are clamping down on things, you're compressing the dynamic range. With expansion, you're expanding the dynamic range, and it enables you to bring out different areas of the frequency spectrum, and that's what I'm going to do here. But what I want to do is I want to avoid blanket expansion whenever any of the high frequencies play. So I go to this expert mode. This is Pro MB, by the way, fantastic multi-band compressor from FabFilter. So if I was to just simply expand this, we're working on the band essentially. So whatever plays in this range, if I turn it up, so essentially whenever the high frequencies exceed the threshold, they're getting pushed up even more. But I don't want to, as I said, work on the hat. So I only want to bring the snare out. So if I change this band to 3, it means I can identify where the lower part of the snare is, which is kind of here. And I can only expand this zone when this area plays. So essentially, I'm boosting the snare rather than just blanket boosting the whole top frequency of the loop. Now, I think I've got some kind of lag on the display here because it's not going with the snare. But I think that, as I said, I think that's just something weird going on with the analyzer. So I'm exaggerating, obviously. So listen out how the fact the snare gets boosted, but the hats don't. Apart from if they're playing at the same time as the snare. Yeah. So let's dial it in properly. Didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to bring this back a bit. Yeah, so that's working for me. So there's an important philosophy here, I think, that which is evident, which is okay. So if you were to bring this loop up, as I said, in the headphones, it kind of sounds fairly well balanced, but in the speakers it just sounded really muddy and kind of I don't know if it's interacting with something else that's playing, but anyway, so maybe in solo it sounds okay, but maybe there's something else playing which is doubling up the low frequencies. But I thought it sounded really muddy, and I needed those high frequencies to be brought out. So my kind of probably the natural reaction would be, okay, we need to go in and carve out those low mids. And that's something I've been guilty of definitely in the past, is really just massacring the low mids, because I like things to sound really nice and have a nice sheen on it and quite hi-fi sounding. But the thing is, we need those low mids as well. We need that body and that warmth to the sound. So using things like saturation and techniques like this, we can actually dial in more of the other area that we need, which balances out the low mids. So one approach would be to get rid of the low mids or carve them a little bit. The other approach would be to add in more of the balancing. Think of a seesaw, the balance, which is the high mids. So by putting in more high mids, we're essentially balancing off against those low mids. So the low mids don't feel out of balance because they're counteracted by the high mids. So it's quite a good way of kind of having your cake and eating it, I guess, in a way. So let's have a look at this sound here. Hello. Okay, so this is another one. This has got some kind of some harshness, I'd say, in there. So some different ways we can approach this. We could pro and B it again, compression this time. Oops. So with the fast release, it's going to be snapping back all the time. If we have a slow release, it's going to be more smooth. So it's going to kind of be more of a consistent overall volume reduction. So that works pretty well. Let's try it in the mix. Something a bit crazy there. I think it's this guy here. He probably needs to be up on this track up here, I'd say. So it's a spectacularly badly organized project. Nothing named, loads of things muted. Straight out of me producing and throwing lots of stuff at it, and I haven't actually done any organization yet. But this is just kind of a little VIP remix of another one of my tracks. So it's not, I might not even do like a really like intense mix down, just because it's kind of a little DJ club track, you know. Okay, so let's try effects out, and hopefully it sounds better. I haven't done is actually match these, which is a big mistake because it's very hard to compare otherwise. So it feels like this needs to go a bit lower because the big peak looks like it's there. I wonder if I can, I'm not sure how I do this, but I want to make that into a bell. I'm not sure if I can do that. So this guy's kind of massively louder for some reason. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that in terms of how it's containing those high frequencies. So once again, so I just wonder actually if, let me just look at this. So what I wanted to do was to actually try and trigger the rim shot to kind of boost a little bit because I felt like we're losing a bit of top rim shot, which I didn't want to do. So let me just try this on another one. This is maybe getting a bit silly, but let's find the rim shot. So using that audition, we can find exactly what we're looking for. And then let's try expanding this range when the rim shot plays. It's subtle, but it feels like it's there. Now, another tool that we can use just to really get this just right is Soothe from Oak Sound. This is a really cool plugin for de-harshing things. No shame in using presets. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's try it in the mix. snare taken out. This is another example where I've created a problem for myself because I've just put too much in, really. So what I might try doing is this, where transient shapers are really important. So we use transient shapers to be able to get rid of too many sustains from tracks. So I've got this on the snare now. So it's allowing us to basically just bring down some of the extra detail which is playing in the loop, if you listen. So we're cutting off some of that extra detail, which is helping clean up space for other sounds. I think I'm going to get invaded by my son. Just take a live stream. You want to say hello to the internet? Hey? Say hello to the internet? Yeah? I'm going to train you to do all this so I don't have to, yeah? Does that be better? Okay, so handing over. I'll be down in a sec. So this is my cue to finish quickly. So basically what I've done here is I've taken out some of the sustain portion of this drum loop to create a bass to allow some of the other sounds to breathe. Can even try a bit on the other loop. So yeah, we're just going into the outro there. So I could probably look at some of these other areas here that need to be looked at. In fact, what I might do actually is clean this project up and do a proper mix down. Maybe not bounce everything out like I would do normally, but just go through and just do a quick mix down because there's so much I can hear that needs to be worked on. And it's the kind of thing where I could get away with it, but maybe it would be really useful to do that, and you can see what's what. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's just some ideas on cleaning up loops and manipulating loops. So remember, expansion very much underused. If you're using a lot of samples, everything's compressed, limited. You need to sometimes put dynamics in. It's not all about compressing all the time. So by doing that, you can bring things out, and also using transient shapers, we can basically create space. And multiband compression using different bands to trigger other bands can be a really good, really elegant way of coming up with solutions to problems. Guys, that's all I'm going to do tonight. And as I said, hopefully I'm going to be back doing some proper, more creative, not that this isn't creative, but some kind of more intense production sessions in the next couple of days. Yeah. Have a good night, guys. See you later.